Hey guys, here with another Trainer Confidential. Got Donnie here.
All
Today's
right.
topic is Tom Platz. I don't know if you guys notice kind of my thing on people who I pick to do biographies, I guess you'd call it on, is I like those hard workers, man. Those golden era bodybuilders. Just the work they put in is just impressive, and that's kind of what I like. Tom
He
Platz is
was
one of
one of
those
them.
guys. So I mean, some would say that he was the hardest worker in the gym. Some would argue that. So but anyway, let's just start off with Platz. He was born June 26, 1955. Just like every story with all the golden era, including yourself, he picked up a Mr. Universe magazine, said, I want to be a bodybuilder, and that's how he got in. He was 11 years old then. 15 years old, he joined a gym, and he met a couple Olympic lifters, Nerb Shemansky and Freddie Lowe, and they taught him how to squat properly. So that's
Right.
where he got that from. And in his prime, his legs were 30 inches wide. So he had some, and he was known as the Quadfather. I mean, Tom Platz is known for his legs
Right.
and his squatting. So he wrote a book, Pro Style Bodybuilding. He's been in six movies, excuse me. Who Killed Johnny Love, Eight Heads in the Duffel Bag, Flex, Body Love, Book of Love, Twins, and The Comeback. Thinking back when Eight Heads in a Duffel Bag and Twins, those are ones that I've seen. I don't remember seeing them, but I didn't know them then either. Arnold was in Twins. That's probably why he was in there, but
Yeah.
that's cool. So what he is known for, which we're going to talk about the controversy in a second, but he's known for, he got first place Mr. Universe in 1980. He did around set looked like around 17 professional shows in the IFBB and
Right.
the
Right.
AAU. So I got his first place. So in the AAU, he got first place in Mr. Southeastern 1977, first in Mr. Ironman 1973, first in Mr. Donus 1973, Mr. Michigan 1975, and he won junior and senior state powerlifting champ. Got first place on that. The guy's strong.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's really impressive in his style of training, and he's soft spoken and just dedicated. I mean, anyway, I got a couple clips we'll watch of his training, and the guy trains insane. But let's talk about the controversy real quick.
Yeah. There's two of them. Before we get started, one of the things that looking into it, his start was kind of similar to mine. I mean, the people, the person that we looked at when he saw that Muscle magazine, he saw Dave Draper with a crusher bar, is what it was. It was a
Oh, it
picture
was
of
Dave
Dave Great
Draper.
Draper. It was a crusher bar.
Okay.
Okay. And Dave Draper is who I followed for the most
Yeah.
part too,
Yeah.
and I was a big fan of Dave Draper and stuff. And he his dad got him a set and he wore that out, and so our upbringing was kind of similar and stuff, so
Uh,
yeah. That was something I found that was pretty interesting and stuff. Yeah, we both were big fans of Dave Draper and stuff. So yeah.
huh.
So controversy number one was it was 1970, it's that 1978 Mr. America, and I think I talked to you a little bit about it before and stuff, and the dark horse just came out of nowhere. Ron Teufel was he was the heir apparent to this. He was supposed to win the overall and stuff. He had beat Tom Platz about 2 times prior. Platz was just getting better and better and stuff. And so what happened was Ron did not win the overall. Tony Pearson did. Tony Pearson beat Ron Teufel. Tom Platz took second behind Ron Teufel in the short division. Tony Pearson was in the medium division. Okay, and so Tom Teufel got so distraught about that he just walked off stage. He walked off stage. He left the facility.
Geez.
And so the thing about that though is when at that time the Mr. AAU Mr. America was the stage to go to the IFBB Mr. Universe. That's how you're going to get the Team Universe, and eventually that's what the Team Universe is all about. It just took the place of what the AAU Mr. America used to do. And so they changed the judges up. Okay. And so now Tom Platz had to go against Tony Pearson okay, for the overall, and they gave it to Platz, and that's how Platz got the chance to go to the Mr. Universe. So he had beat Tony
Oh,
Pearson, who had just beat Ron Teufel, who had beat Tom Platz like twice in a row prior. So yeah,
okay.
it turned out, to be a pretty decent day for Tom Platz.
Crazy. Okay. I didn't know that story. All
Oh
right.
yeah, that was, oh man, that was the first time I had to been about 78. I was 18 at the time. I was
Mhm.
18 at the time. And that's in the AAU Miss America was just it just solidified everything. I mean, the previous Mr. Americas, that the previous people that won the Mr. Americas, if they won it the year before or something like, or Mr. California, I should say. The previous Mr. Californians went on to win the Mr. America.
Mhm.
And Ron Teufel, he was a Mr. California winner, and he was just the heir apparent. He was the shit at the time,
Huh.
and it just got turned upside down on its head. And the person that ended up winning at the end of the day was Tom Platz.
Hmm. That's awesome. So
Yeah, it's just
what's the second controversy?
So the second controversy. This is another big one. This is 1981 Mr. Olympia, and so with this one, Franco Colombo was coming back off of a 5-year hiatus. Okay. And during that time, he had also broken his leg, because in this world's strongest man competition, he was in a refrigerator race, and he broke his leg,
Mhm.
so, that,
Jeez.
you got to think about. So he's on a 5-year layoff, and he broke his leg, and people still had a sour taste in their mouth after Arnold won,
The last one.
beat Mike Menzer,
Yeah.
out of the Miss Olympia. So there was still a sour taste in everybody's mouth,
Mhm.
and so, but he was the favorite. Tom Platz, he just put his visors on and just did what he had to do, and he got third, behind Danny Padilla. So Franco Colombo was first, Danny Padilla was second, and Tom Platz was third. Everybody think that he got robbed. And the thing about it is this is when things were really starting to look a little shady for for bodybuilding. It just I'm like, I'm literally thinking at this time, I'm what, 21 years old? Is this going to be around when I'm 26, 27?
Oh, wow.
You just had just a string of controversies,
Yeah.
that was coming on and stuff, and then short after that's when the NPC started coming out,
Huh. Yeah.
just separate themselves from the AAU altogether and stuff, and that's where the NPC came about. And with the Olympia, well, it just we just had to, yeah, a lot of people like Tony Emmett and Roger Walker, and so although they didn't compete anymore. I thought they stopped competing after the one that Arnold won, but come to find out, I look at the 1981 Olympian lineup, and Tony Emmett and Roger Walker, they were in that too. But I'm
Okay.
pretty sure after that one,
Done.
they didn't show up anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. That was icing on the
You
cake.
had you had just a string of controversial calls within about 5 years of each other.
Huh. Yeah. It was year after year pretty much because we've talked about this lots of times about different
Yeah.
events.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Huh. That's crazy. Well, I got a couple clips of him training legs and stuff that I want to share. So I'll put those up here. Okay. Oh, here we go. Here's one of them right here. So this guy's just so damn intense.
Yeah, he is. He person. The thing about it is he talked about, when he finally got to Gold's Gym, that he was training with Arnold, and he figured to be as good as Arnold, he had to train like Arnold, and he come to find out that after a few months of training like that, his gains were diminishing, and he finally realized that he doesn't have the same genetics that Arnold has. And he took some
Yeah.
time off, and he came back, and he started doing a little bit more hit style, not training as long, not training as often, and that really turned around for him and stuff. So
Yeah, it's kind of what he was saying. It sounded like he kind of he didn't really have set days off. He'd go hit hard legs so hard because his motto was pretty much if you're walking away from the gym, you didn't hit your legs hard enough. I mean, he trained that hard, and then he
Yeah,
may not go back and do legs for another 2 weeks after that. He just kind of see where he was at, I guess.
yeah, he. It seemed to me like he was more of a feeler. Some people,
Yes.
they have a certain amount of reps caught in their mind and stuff, and then some people are like, you know what, I'm just going to keep going until my muscles aren't functioning anymore. I mean,
Yes.
he was kind of like that. And there's lots of indications to let you know when you're there. You know what I
Yes.
mean?
Yes.
And they're all legit, but he was one of the ones that he felt that, hey, look, when it's hard for my muscles to function, I know, and of course, for a fact that they are done.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
was his class. He was just about to do his classic gold eagle pose.
Yeah.
You get
He's
the
also got
air
a
and he comes back and he hits that single arm bicep. Yeah, it's
uh-huh.
pretty good.
So I don't know if they have a name for that pose, but there was a pose that they actually banned. Uh,
Oh, the moon pose.
is that what it was called? It's this one
Yeah, it
here.
was the
I'll
moon pose. No
it's
more mooning. I remember that used to be part of
this
the
one here.
competitors meeting back at, yeah, that's the one. That was part of, and it's just to show the the the
Hamstring.
the
Yeah.
the hamstrings and the adductors, and semi-membranosus, semi-tendinosis, you see the quads, the whole 9 yards and stuff. And yeah, you would get that in the like even latest the 90s. No moon posing. You get that in competitors briefing. No
Moon
moon
pose.
posing.
That's
So yeah.
crazy. But I mean, that guy's legs are just phenomenal. Like, I mean, think his hamstrings back there. I mean,
Yeah, I was really taken aback by his legs. I mean,
yeah.
everybody was. I mean, there were no legs like that prior to that. The I would say, and he was nowhere near that. What I'm thinking about what is his name? Oh man, Dale Adrian. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Back in the early, I would say about 74, 75, Dale Adrian, he beat Robbie Robinson out of the Mr. America, and he did it with his legs. And then Muscle and Fitness did a piece on him about leg development.
Huh.
And I really hadn't seen anybody with legs prior to that, after that, until Tom Platz showed up.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just it just blows my mind. And I think of this one, he's training some people in this one, but this guy, he just and he would squat ass to calves, is what he would
Yeah.
do.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's amazing that like he really had a low back condition. I mean, it wasn't so much scoliosis, but it was something about the discs being fused or something like that. He just, or they weren't fused properly or
Huh.
something to that extent.
Is
But he
that
had
why
some.
he
Yeah.
squatted the way he did? Because according to him, everybody squat. 90% of people squat wrong because he does a high squat and he goes straight up and down. Rather, with the low squat, people kind of tend to use their back in it. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Is that why he squatted the way he did? He did.
I don't know. It probably has something to do with the structure too. So, but and typically, if you notice with his feet are kind of pointed straight ahead,
Yes.
and he's using a close stance. You
Yes.
know, he's not using a wider stance. Typically, most people's stance about just inside shoulders width, toes slightly pointed outward and stuff. But he really wanted to isolate those quads, is what he
Yeah.
wanted.
Yeah.
But the thing about it is, he wasn't as he wasn't a form guy.
No, he he
He
wasn't.
was
No.
not a form guy.
He
I
was
mean,
hit it hard as humanly possible. That's what he did.
I'm pretty
And
sure
he's
he. I'm
still
pretty
walking
sure.
around in good health too. So,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Ronnie Coleman, I mean, he trained hard as hell, and he's all beat up, but Platts is still, he's still doing his thing, still healthy and everything.
Yeah,
So he just had good
yeah.
genetics. Good
Well, you
genetics.
know, but he had a lot of help when he first went out to Gold's Gym. I mean, he was like, dude, I was still just a kid, and Frank Zane and all the people, they would just come up to him and just help him out, give him
Hmm.
pointers the whole 9 yards.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure that probably had something to do with it. So yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah. Man, Gold. So that's Gold's Gym Venice. There's a
that was
lot
the
of
Mecca at the time.
yeah, a lot of stories are like that of young bodybuilders going in there and meeting all the golden era guys and them helping
Oh,
them
when
out.
he went out there, he said he could barely afford the plane ticket out there, and he had like a few bucks in his pocket and stuff. So
Huh.
that's all he had. A lot of people back then. Those are the stories that I was getting when I was 14, 15, reading how people are going out there, and my deal was, I just didn't, I wasn't. I did get out there, but I went out there via the Marines. I says, I'm just not going to go out because at this point it's 1979. It's not 1972. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's 79, and I just wasn't. I needed a little bit of a backup. So, and I managed to get in the Marines and I got stationed out to California. I got a chance to compete out there the whole 9 yards,
Oh
and
wow.
so I needed something to fall back on. I just wasn't going to go
Yeah.
out there and because there were other things I read in magazines too. Because bodybuilders did some unscrupulous things, in
Yeah.
order to make money, and I'm like, no, I'm not going there.
Yeah.
So I went out there via the military.
Yeah.
And so,
Huh.
yeah, that's what got me out to California,
Huh.
Marines,
So
and I
so
was able to compete out there.
you trained at Venice quite a bit then?
I did not train to Venice because I was stationed in Camp Pendleton.
Hmm.
And so actually my time out there, I never really went to Venice to train and stuff.
You
I
guys
mean, there
had
were
your
other
own gym.
gyms.
Yeah.
I was in Oceanside, so there was a gym called the Iron Man's Gym. Roger Metz, who was a pretty prominent individual and stuff. And he had his own organization, and so I competed with those guys. It was kind of like unaffiliated. The contests that I was doing in California, they weren't really affiliated with the AAU. They were like some of these natural organizations are today. Is
Okay.
what I
Yeah.
was doing at the time and stuff.
Huh.
So yeah, I never got a chance to really get into any AAU meets until I switched up in the Army and I went to Europe for a while, and I came back and I was joining the NPC.
So did the AAU that went on until what, the early 80s?
Early 80s. Early
Okay.
80s, because I remember, let me see, my first NPC, I think my first NPC show was the Mr. Oklahoma.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah. I'm thinking it was the Oklahoma Bodybuilding Championships in the 80s.
Hmm.
I don't recall competing. I don't recall competing in the AAU or the NPC when I was in the Marines, but
Hmm.
I did when I was in the Army.
Hmm.
Okay, so yeah,
Hmm.
so I'm thinking late 80s, mid to late 80s is when I was competing in the NPC. Yeah.
Hmm. Wow. So what is Tom Platz? He's in it. What is probably in his 70s? I mean, well,
No, he's
1955.
just a little bit old. He's just a little bit older
Oh,
than I am. He
okay.
wasn't. I was 18 in 78. He had to have been in his early 20s.
Hmm.
Because I think he's like 67 right now, and I'm 60. I'll be 63. So he
Hmm.
wasn't that much older than I was.
He's a
He was,
firm believer in wooden shoes too for squats. Did you know that?
yeah. Hey.
He
And I
likes
think that's when the weightlifting, they were like, hey, we're not teaching you to squat until you get some proper squatting shoes and stuff.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I think he even makes shoes
He
now
does.
for.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he's got a line of shoes and they're made out of wood for the sole, but they're the
Wow.
heels are kicked up. They're powerlifting shoes.
Well, the thing about it
Heels are up a little high.
is we used to squat back in the day. We would step on a block. We put
Okay.
our heels on a block.
Okay.
And that's to isolate the quads,
Yeah.
get the glutes out of it and stuff. Now, I mean, you want you're flat, you're isolating the glutes and quads, the whole 9 yards and stuff.
Yeah.
So,
Because
but
back
yeah,
in those days, the glutes didn't really matter as much anyway,
it
right?
wasn't right. Well,
Not like it
right
is
back in
now.
there were some people that did have, a lot of people don't realize some people did have striated glutes. I mean, Bob Birdsong, he had striated glutes and stuff. It's just that It's just that when it really started catching everyone's attention, Rich Gaspari came out right at the right time. He's the one, he's the one that it stuck to. But
Okay.
there were some other bodybuilders. Bob Bergson is a good example. He had striated glutes and stuff. But yeah, I mean, if you take a look at the posing trunks back then, it covered the entire backside. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Huh. That's crazy. So yeah, oh, I was gonna say, yeah, anyway, that's what I wanted to do on Tom Platz today. I just thought, thought we should get
Sure.
him thought we should get him on there and talk about him. I don't know what the next guy will do, but Tony Pearson would be a good one too.
Tony, because I say he was very controversial.
Yeah.
He really
Yeah.
was. He was very, very, very. He really shook up that 78 Mr. America and stuff. He came out of nowhere. And I'm like, who is Tony Pearson? Who is this guy? Because everybody was expecting Teufel to win, you
Hmm.
know,
Yeah.
or maybe Tom Platz. Because he was those two. They were going, 1 and 2, 1 and 2, 1 and 2. It was Teufel and Platz, and this is
Hmm.
going to be the year.
Yeah.
But like I said, Teufel beat Platz and Pearson beat Teufel and then Platz beat Pearson and he went to the universe.
Can you think of another better set of legs though than Platts?
I you,
I mean, I'm
you
thinking Cutler in my mind.
no no Quadzilla.
Yeah.
Quadzilla.
Okay.
What I can't is his
Quadzilla.
I'm yeah,
I know
he's
that name.
passed away, but I'm trying to remember what his name Quadzilla was his nickname. People would know that. I'm pretty sure people listening to this know who I'm talking about. But
Yeah,
his
I know the
name
name too. I
called
can't think of it.
Quadzilla. I'm trying to remember what his name was.
Quadzilla. We'll look it up on my phone. It comes up with a motorbike. Quadzilla bodybuilder.
It's
Okay,
right at the tip of my tongue.
Paul DeMeo.
Yes, Paul DeMeo. I was thinking, yeah. Paul DeMeo was another he came in and his legs were pretty
Oh, they're
crazy.
feathered and everything.
Yeah, he had
Yeah,
really
his
but
quads are all feathered. Wow.
yeah,
Okay.
they were ginormous. And then you had there was another individual who had some pretty tremendous legs and stuff. So, but yeah, yeah.
Huh. Well, I think that concludes our show for today. You got anything else to add to it?
That's it, man, friend.
All right. All right. I hope you guys enjoyed the Tom Platz, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah, if anything, hey, if anybody's got suggestions on who they want to,
Yeah.
who they think we should talk about, hey, you throw that out there.
Yeah, because honestly, I mean, I love these guys. That's why I look them up, and and so I like doing this part, the biography stuff on my
Hmm.
favorite bodybuilders. I love that
Hmm.
stuff. So, and I like the golden era, man. And in my mind, after watching Arnold this year and seeing what won, aesthetics won rather than mass monsters now,
Yeah,
I think it
it's
almost might be going back to golden era. There's a
but
possibility.
but the thing about it is Classic's got that sewed up.
They do, yeah. You're right.
Classic has got that. So I
What if
mean,
Bumstead goes to open?
I am huh?
What if he goes to open? Because he's talking about going to open Bumstead.
You talking about bums? I mean,
Ramon take his
I would,
spot.
I would have no qualm with that. If that's something he decided to do and stuff. He's definitely going to be bringing structure.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, yeah.
I mean, he's competing now. What, almost nearly 250,
Yeah,
nearly
I think his stage weight's around 250. He's like
something like
260,
that. Yeah,
something like that off
and he
season.
still looks like he can fill out a lot. I mean, I
Yeah,
mean, he would definitely have to get a little bit fuller and stuff.
yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah, but now this controversy about stuff is just boiling up, saying that hey, maybe Rami did get robbed,
yeah.
and maybe it should be Nick Walker and stuff. Like I said, like with me, and if Samson had came second and Nick had won, I'd say
Exactly.
okay, all right, okay.
If
You
any of
know,
the top three would have won, it wouldn't have been
yeah. To me, I thought it was a coin toss. You know
yeah.
what I mean?
And that was going to be a topic for this week because there's a lot of bodybuilding news right now, but a lot of it's junk, man. I don't really want to get into that. You know what I mean? Just gossip crap, and because there's a whole, as you know, there's a whole bunch of stuff going on, all over the place about, Nick Walker should have won, and Randy got. I mean, it's all over the place. It's like,
My deal, my deal is this. I mean, me personally speaking, if Derek had if he had showed up,
how do you think
I think
that
he
would have
would have
worked?
won.
Yeah, you think
I think he would
so?
have won.
Yeah.
I think he would have won. Because the thing is, he would have the size and he would have the structure that
Yes.
Samson has.
Yes.
You know, but I think he can get tighter than
Yeah, he
Samson.
can.
Nick had Samson a little bit on conditioning. You know what I mean? But it's not like Samson had bad conditioning.
No.
He was much more improved, than he was at the Olympia.
Yeah.
It's just that, and Walker will tell you, he says, "Look, I'm not a structure guy. Although I think he's got a really good side tricep.
He does. Yeah,
I
he
really do.
does.
I think it's pretty aesthetic.
Yeah.
But he'll tell you, hey, look, I'm not a structure guy. But the thing
Mhm.
about it is this: he's got to do something about that front lat spread."
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
the one thing he does not. Derek's front lat spread is
It's
freaking
phenomenal.
phenomenal.
Yeah.
You,
Yeah. Yeah.
the disparity between his front lat spread and Nick Walker's front lat spread is much wider than any disparity that Walker would have over Lunsford.
Yeah, I agree. I
It's
agree.
just too big. It's too
I
big.
agree.
I mean, he's just and it's, like I said, his structure is something that Nick probably can't do a lot about. You
No.
know what I mean? But if he's going toe to toe and even if his backlash spray could hold some heat with Lunsford, but the front, no,
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
done
Do
deal.
you really think, how much more work can Walker do on his physique, you think? I mean,
I mean,
he kind of seems like his frame is filled out. I mean, he was smaller at the Arnold than he was the Olympia. But
he
so
was a
he
little
was getting back
downside.
to,
I think me personally, I think he could have just filled out a little bit more. You know what I mean?
and he
I
says that too. He says
Yeah, I
that too.
mean, yeah, that's the thing about it is you can't put on fat that fast, guys. You know what
No,
I mean?
no.
You can't. I think you probably just spent an extra day filling out. And he was dry. The whole 9 yards, and he was a little downsized. But in the legs anyway. But yeah, I think if Derek had showed up, I think he would have. I think he had a he would at least been it would have been between Samson and Derek,
Yeah.
and like
Let
I
me let
said,
me ask
Derek
you
is
let me ask you this real quick. So like coming out of the Olympia, and what was it, 4 or 5 weeks later, and it was the Arnold. So, like you said, you're not gonna make fat that fast. Now, at that point, after you're done with the show, you've been dieting and all that, you're pretty anabolic at that point, kind of like a sponge, right? Would you say that it would be easier to build muscle at that point and faster or fat?
well. I
You know what I'm
mean,
saying?
so they've probably been pulling put their carbs back in, because I'm pretty sure their carbs whittled down to damn near nothing and stuff, and put
Yeah.
those carbs back in and give it, and then like if it's like a 6-7 week window, you can have them do that for like a couple of weeks and then just start whittling back down, and see what you got. But
Mhm.
I think he just needed probably about an extra day of filling out is what I think he needed. I
Yeah.
don't that's all. I don't think he just filled out enough. I don't know.
You're right, because the next day in finals he filled out more than he did the day before.
Right.
So yeah. And Samson actually at finals, he was starting to fade out a little bit at the end too. So he was burning
Yeah.
through that glycogen pretty quick. And Nick
That's
didn't.
that's what I'm saying with a lot of people is they're not filling out, especially when they got you backstage. Well, no, as a matter of fact, they were backstage so long. Walker's probably looking good at one point in time and stuff. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? If you're
yeah,
burning through that doggone glycogen and stuff, and the first place you could see it was in his legs.
yeah,
What can you do? You
yeah.
know.
It is what it is. That that time on stage, man, a lot can happen that day
All I know is
before.
right
And
now, all eyes are on Samson. What are you going to do, champ?
Yeah, exactly.
Eyes on you. That bull's eyes on you too. So yeah. Okay.
Bodybuilding is looking pretty it's pretty exciting these days, I
Welcome
think.
to the hot seat. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
I'm hoping he's consistent.
Yeah.
I'm hoping he's consistent. What do you think? What do you think is going to happen with with ah
Crizzo?
no, not Crizzo. He won the Olympia and then he got beat by Ramy.
This year? Hottie?
No, not Hani. The previous year. He won the
Oh,
Olympia. You know what I'm talking about.
Curry.
Curry. What
Yeah.
what's up with Curry? You
I don't. I
anything?
mean, he's still going strong, but I know in the Arnold he had some kidney issues and stuff like that.
I did not know that.
Yeah, when he was prepping for the Arnold, he was going through some kidney stuff, and he might have been going through some kidney stuff at the Olympia too. But yeah, I mean, he's going strong still, as far as I know. He got that because you're Curry's got a lot of potential. I mean,
Yeah,
uh,
I mean, I you know, I mean, I don't know. I think he's in that same situation that Ramy's in and stuff. I mean, he's still a threat, a whole
yeah.
9 yards,
Oh
especially at
yeah,
lower
he
tier
is.
shows and stuff like that. He you know, but as far as like being a franchise Olympia, you know, finalist and contestant
Consecutive
and stuff.
winner. Yeah.
Yeah, it's you know, I don't know, but it's just that, you know, I didn't know about the situation with the kidneys and stuff, you know. But
Yeah,
I know I hadn't
so
seen him. I didn't see him, and normally he's in the center of everything and stuff, you
yeah, and
know.
he was supposed to be at the Arnold too. Remember he was on the list
Oh, he was?
at the beginning. I believe he was. Yeah, you know, because
Okay.
some people dropped out. Remember, oh, the other dude was on there. Oh, what the hell's his name? The Boogeyman they call him.
Okay, I know who you're talking about.
There was like three or four people that dropped out, and then they raised the money up. And then
Okay.
they came out with that rule that if it's an invitational and you drop out, you're gonna get fined
Yeah.
because of that. So, but anyway, we got to call it quits. You guys have a good night, Donnie. We'll see you
Yeah.
later, man.
See you next week, man.